The war for resources has led to the collapse of civilization madness, and wild gangs on homemade vehicles reign in the vast post-apocalyptic wasteland of Australia. Even the seas began to dry up and leave behind a desert. Former road warrior and now lonely wanderer Max Rockatansky wanders the wasteland, tormented by visions of those he knew and could not save. So he is captured by raiders from the Citadel, a prosperous settlement located on underground water sources and ruled by the dictator Immortan Joe, whom the subjects consider to be God in the flesh, and the half-life warriors. Loyal to him, sincerely believe that after death they will drive around with him the expanses of Valhalla. Max serves as a source of blood, or carcasses, for transfusion to one of Immortan Joe's drivers, Nux. Immortan Joe gathers people to celebrate the departure of the convoy for supplies. He opens the water and a crowd of people squabble among themselves for water. A few minutes later, he closes the water. The people who did not have time to collect water are fighting among themselves for water. Warlord Furiosa, one of Immortan Joe's field commanders, escapes from the owner on a combat wagon along with the dictator's harem 5 young women called mares. Furiosa's goal is the Greenlands, a fertile area on the other side of the desert where she was born and from where she and her mother were taken. Immortan Joe is informed that the convoy has turned off the road and is heading towards enemy lands. He quickly opens his harem and sees that there is no one there. At this time, the Nax quickly takes Max and rushes after the fuel truck. They are pursued by the army of Immortan Joe on assorted cars and motorcycles, which is soon joined by 2 more detachments warriors of the Meteor, who supplies the Citadel with fuel from the city of Gastown, and the chief weaponsmith, who supplies Immortan Joe with weapons and ammunition from the lead farm. The heroes are also attacked by porcupine bandits hostile to both sides, whose cars are planted with iron stakes. Those accompanying the fuel truck begin to defend themselves. They destroy several enemy vehicles, but suddenly a large enemy car comes out of nowhere and destroys several cars accompanying the fuel truck. The cars that are catching up with him want to stop the fuel truck, but Warlord Furiosa destroys them and rushes into the center of the sandstorm. In a catastrophic sandstorm, Nux's car crashes. Max wants to free himself from the chain, but he fails to do this, and he takes Nux on his back and holds the car door in one hand and catches up with the gasoline truck. There, Max sees the girls taking off their chains. He asks, give him water, and then tells the other girl to cut the sep. At this moment, Furiosa rushes at him and they begin to fight. Nax comes to his senses and sees that Max and Furiosa are fighting among themselves and thinks that Max is on the same page with him. Max barely overcomes Furiosa, and Max manage to free themselves from their captor and pick up their jacket and sawn-off shotgun. He picks up a gasoline truck but can't get far from them. Furiosa and the girls catch up with him. He agrees to join Furiosa's group. In a narrow canyon, the heroes encounter a gang of bikers with whom Furiosa made an agreement to blow up the tank in exchange for a tank with fuel, using dynamite to pass through the rocks. The leader of the bikers refuses to do this because, according to him, there should have been a couple of cars on the tail, and she brought 2 squads with her. The bikers block the passage, thereby blocking the way for Immortan Joe and his army, after which they fire at the combat truck and throw grenades at it. Furiosa and Max shoot the bikers, forcing them to stop fighting. Joe overcomes the rubble in his car, but in the chase, one of the passengers of the truck, Charming Ankarat, dies, but Nux is on the truck, thrown there by Immortan Joe. Having failed to assassinate Furiosa and blaming himself for Ankarat's death, Nax is completely demoralized. One of Immortan Joe's wives gives him faith in the best, and he joins the group of heroes. In the gloomy swamps, the truck gets stuck in a quagmire, but Max manages to tie a chain around a tree and attach it at one end to the car. Furiosa shoots the master gunsmith right in the eyes. Blind and enraged, the gunsmith blindfolds his eye sockets and, cursing Furiosa and her team, begins firing machine guns at random. Meanwhile, the truck manages to get out of the swamp, but soon the engine overheats and the car has to be stopped to cool the engine. Max sets up a trap, causing the master armorer's car to explode, and Rockatansky returns with weapons for his team. Having reached the desert on the other side of the swamps, the heroes find several women, the remnants of the 1,000 mothers, Furiosa's tribe, who fled from the Greenlands. It turned out that the swamps were the Greenlands from Furiosa's memories. At night, Furiosa draws up a further plan of action and decides to continue the path through the salt marsh. One of Joe's wives talks to her old mother, who shows her a bag full of seeds, saying that she hopes one day to find suitable soil for plants. When Furiosa and the others set out on the road on bikes, Max is again overcome by visions, and he realizes that even after months of travel, there may still be the same salt marsh ahead. Max suggests that the group, instead of a hopeless path further along the salt marshes, return to the Citadel and capture it, taking advantage of the absence of the Immortan Joe and the death of most of his army. On the way back, Joe's squad catches up with the heroes. A massacre ensues. Joe's car is bulletproof, so they fail to kill him. One of Joe's wives deceives the warrior that she wants to come to them and makes her way to Joe's car, opening the door so that others get in. The warrior takes the girl to the car and jumps out to the gas truck. Max, and with difficulty they manage to neutralize him. Everyone in the gas truck makes their way to Joe's car, but the fuel truck driver Nux remains, seeing the war who did not die. Nux sacrifices himself by crashing the truck in the canyon and allowing the heroes to escape pursuit in Joe's car. Furiosa, despite being seriously wounded, manages to get across onto Joe's car and kill him. Upon returning to the Citadel, Furiosa and the survivors are allowed inside when they reveal Joe's corpse, and Max, the eternally lonely road warrior, leaves it, disappearing into the crowd. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.